Today we are going to see how to create RESTful web services. So, how to create RESTful web services or APIs. So, before going to in depth, we will try to understand what is web services and what is RESTful web services. Okay, so let me show you one thing, just a minute. Sorry. See this diagram. You can see web application can be of two types. Web application means client server architecture, where client can send a request and server will try to process the request and send back a response. This is called typical web application. And web application can be of two types. One is website and another one is web services. Website and web services, what is the differences? So website is for human being. Websites are for human being. Why? Because when we are using website, we are basically seeing or viewing the data in a nicely structured HTML page. And we know that we can create an HTML page with the help of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So data is wrapped with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And HTML, CSS, JavaScript will demonstrate our data in a very well manner. So one is website, but website can be only used with web browser. Means for website we need web browser. Why? Because web browser is something who knows HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Like facebook.com, if I hit this thing sorry, facebook.com, as I said, it's written a web page. This is a login web page of the Facebook. Here I will enter my email and password and I will click login. So I will redirect to the new page where I can see my likes, posts, shares, comments, my friends status and so many things. In this case data is showing, but data is not in the raw form, but it is well represented, nicely represented, well formatted, a fixed template with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So it become more readable for human being, for us. Okay, so website is something for human being. But web services is something which returns only data, no UI, no user interface. And this data can be in multiple forms. JSON form. JSON means JavaScript object notation, means something like JavaScript style of objects. XML form, text form, any other form. So there are lots of type of data, But the main thing is web services is something which returns data as a response. Website is something which returns data but not data. Data is wrapped with HTML, CSS and JavaScript in form of web page, and the browser is only able to render the web page. But here the data, return data is used by a mobile app, a desktop app, a web app means a website. Let's for example WhatsApp. You can use WhatsApp in your mobile phone. You can use WhatsApp on your browser window. You can use WhatsApp as a desktop window. So how it is possible? It is possible because WhatsApp create web services. Sorry. WhatsApp provide web services. Mobile app get the data with the web services. Web app get the same data from the same web services. Desktop app will get the same data with web services. And they have capability to display same data in a different ways. So let's say if I run this URL, http, yeah, let's say get method, try it out. Yeah, let me run this URL. Sorry. Yeah, you can see this URL gives me a nicely colored, beautiful, responsive page, HTML page. But this URL give me some data, raw data. I know it's a JSON data. JSON data is a key value pair. I will explain, don't worry. So this URL denotes a website, and this URL denotes a web service, because this will return the data. Clear or no? Yes or no? Difference between website and web services is clear or not?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Next thing, web services can be of two types. One is SOAP. The full form is Simple Object Access Protocol. Simple Object Access Protocol. And it uses XML heavily. There are lots of XML related stuff, and it's very difficult to create SOAP. It's very difficult to maintain the SOAP services. In older time, we were using SOAP mostly, but nowadays, most of the time we are using RESTful services, RESTful API, REST web services, whatever the name. And it's very easy. It's very easy to create a REST application, a REST API, to maintain the REST API. It's very easy. So let's see how we can create a REST application, how to create a RESTful APIs. Okay. Before going further, I want to tell you something about HTTP protocol. HTTP protocol is a general concept in the computer science. It's not related to Java or Python or any other language. All languages are uses HTTP protocol for sending request and response. Okay, so HTTP is something general thing. So let me open this thing in Paint one more time. Yeah. So typical web application is, this is a client, this is a client, or this is a server, this is a web server, web client, it can be a browser, it can be a desktop application, a mobile application, or any other program. Okay, web client, and it is web server. Web server. Okay, so they are connected with each other through a network. This is a network. HTTP protocol over the network. Okay, we know that client can send the request. Client can send the request, and it will give the response back. Response back. So again, it's a request, and this is the response. Okay, this is the thing: web client, web server. Okay, this is general web application. Let's, for example, in the case of website, web client can be a web browser. You will hit www.facebook.com. A request reaches to the Facebook server. Facebook server see the URL, and according to the URL, it will process something and return back an HTML page, and you can see the data inside the HTML page. In web services, it can be anything which hit the URL. Request reach to the server. Server will process the request, do some processing computation. If we have database, it will connect with the database, and after that it will return the response as a JSON data or XML data, whatever the format. It's very simple, very easy. Just 1 minute. But the main thing I want to tell you, in how many ways, a web client can send request to the web server. Can anybody tell me? In how many ways a web client can send request to a web server? Any idea? So HTTP,
One way through the HTTPS, something like that.
sorry, can you come again?
It's like using the HTTPS URL to reach to the.
Whether we are using HTTP or HTTPS, basically we are using HTTP protocol. HTTPS means secured. Earlier, let me write. HTTPS is equal to HTTP plus security. Okay, you can see like this. Earlier we were uses SSL protocol, SSL security layer, but now what I know, transport layer security, TLS, is uses. So when we make more secure HTTP, it will become HTTPS. Ultimately, it is HTTP basically. Okay. So my question is, in how many ways a web client can send a request to the web server using HTTP protocol. So HTTP protocol says there are 7 different methods. There are 7 different ways to send a request from a client to server. What are those? Okay, so those are get, sorry, get, post, put, delete. Okay, trace, head, options. These are coming from HTTP 1, but nowadays we are also seeing some patch. Okay, so just one more minute. Yes, yes. So head trace options, options. Let me, yes. So these are HTTP verbs, HTTP methods by which we can send a request to the client, by get, by post, by put, by delete, by patch, head trace options. Okay, we are not going to focus on all but these four, first four. These are HTTP verbs, HTTP verbs, HTTP methods, HTTP verbs or methods. Okay, so now we know by name. Let's discuss about when we should use post, when we should use get. So it's very easy. Suppose you want to fetch data, from the server. So which verb will used? You want to get data from the server. Which verb you should use?
We should use get.
Get.
Get
As the name says, get. So basically we should use get for fetching the data, for fetching the resource from the server. Yes? Yes? Second number. When you want to send
get
data, you should use
post.
post. In earlier days, whenever we are writing mails to our friends and family, we post the mail, na?
Yeah.
Yeah, post. Post is something to sending something from client to server. Okay. Put.
Yeah.
Put is similar to the post, but it's an update. We have something on a server, we want to update it. So we will use put. Delete. Delete is something for, we have something on a web server and I want to delete it. Yes? So here we can see it's very natural. Get when you want to get data from the server. Post when you want to send some data to the server. Patch, sorry, put when you want to update the data. Delete, you want to delete the data. Yes or no? So your homework will be,
Yes.
you have to read more about these four things. Only these four things: get, post, put, delete. And most of the time, interviewer asks difference between get and post. So although we should get data from the get, but you can also get the data from post. We know that we should send data post, but we can also send the data from the get. Okay, so what is the difference? Difference is we should fetch the data through the get, and we should send the data through post, but we can also send data using get. But in that case, the data should be in a limited amount, but with the help of post we can send unlimited amount of data in GBs, you can say. And in the case of get, whatever data you are sending, it will shown in the URL bar. Don't worry, I will show you. Okay, but the data sent by the post will become the part of the body, and it will not show in the URL bar. You cannot send binary data with the help of get, but with the help of post. Binary data you cannot send image, you cannot send PDF file. These are binary data. Get only support textual data. So there are lots of differences. So it's your homework. You have to figure out those things. I will demonstrate how to create a get service, how to create a post service, how to create a delete service. So let's start. Let's start. For this, I will go to the Spring Initializer website. Sorry. Sorry. Spring Initializer website. Here I will use Maven as a project management tool, Java as a programming language, Spring Boot version whatever is selected by default, I don't have any problem. Convert REST API demo. This is my application name. I wanna pack my application in jar file. Okay, by default 17. Okay, I have no problem. But here for making RESTful APIs, I have to add dependency web. I will use this dependency. So whatever needed to create a web application, Spring Boot will provide by default. You don't need to mention each and every dependency. Okay, let's generate. This is generated. Okay, so what I will do, I will cut it down from here, and I know my things are here, so I will paste it here, and I will extract it here. Now I can delete the zip because I have REST API demo project, so I can delete this zip, and I will come back to the Eclipse, and I will open file, import existing Maven project, browse, and in same workspace 2 folder I have REST API demo, and select folder and finish. Just wait. You can see, let me close this earlier one, and you can see in Maven dependencies how many jars we have. Oh, let me check. Oh my god, 62 items. Means suppose if I have to tell the name of this jar, it will be very difficult. But Spring Boot says, just tell me what do you want. You want web? Okay. I will provide by default all the things what you can be needed. maybe you are not using all of them, but I will provide all the things. As you said, web, wow, it's very nice thing. And not only the jar files, but it will also configure so many things, so I don't need to do anything. So let's run this application. So Spring Boot by default create a main class, this, and it is a main method, so I can right click, run as Java application, and let's see what happens. Let's see. You can see the logs. Starting this application using Java 17, the process ID is something like that. No active profiles, we will talk profile later, so it will revert back to the default profile. Okay. Tomcat initialized with port 808. What is Tomcat? Tomcat is our web server. Oh my god. Before Spring Boot, we have to download server or Tomcat server manually, and we have to integrate Tomcat server with Eclipse, so our code will run inside the Tomcat. But here things are reversed. Here code will contain the Tomcat. As soon as I run my application, it will start the Tomcat. Wow. And my application is running inside the Tomcat on the port number 8080. Wow. It's really nice. But thing is how to check it, whether it's working or not. How to check it, whether it's working or not. Okay. Let me try. This application is running on my system and my system name is localhost. So what I can do, I will write http://localhost. Localhost is the name of my system, and in my system there are lots of services running. Tomcat is running on 8080 or slash, hit enter. It says white label error page, means okay, if this come, that means your Spring application is working fine, it's running. But this URL is not exist. This URL is not exist. Okay. So what I can do? So now it's done to create a first controller inside the Spring Boot. Controller, what is controller? I will tell you. Just see first, then we talk it later. So let me stop this thing. I will create, right click, new class. Let's say test controller. Okay, in the controller, in the web package. In the web package. And I will annotate with add controller. The add controller is the annotation which makes this class as a controller. Okay, controller, fine. So what I can do, you can create few methods. Let's say public let's say I want to return a string, say hello, and it will return hello from controller. Okay, this is a simple method. Okay, so I want to execute method when somebody hits slash hello. So I will map with get mapping, and here I will pass the URL slash hello. What is the meaning? when request come with get verb, when request come with get verb and the URL should look like slash hello, then this will call this method. Means Tomcat web container call this method. Okay. So let's see. First I will run this application. Right click, run it. Let's see whether it's work or not. I can see my application is started successfully. Okay. So let's come back here and this time I will pass slash hello. Again same thing. Again same thing. What is the problem? What is the problem? The problem is that the controller class methods by default return view name, either HTML page name or JSP page name. It will not return data. If you want to return data, you have to write additional annotation at response body. Now it will return data. Earlier it will try to return a name of page. We don't have any HTML page, we don't have any JSP page. Okay, I want to return data. So how I can? I have to tell something like that. So again I have to stop the server and I have to run this application one more time. Now my application is running. Okay, let me hit this URL one more time. Hello from controller. It's working fine. Wow, it's working fine. Okay. It's working fine. So this is my test controller. So let's create a full-fledged controller for employee. Suppose what I will do, I will create class employee controller, but this time I will use REST controller. So what is the controller difference between controller and REST controller? You can see here we are using controller, here we are using REST controller. What is the difference? It's very simple. Controller is for website, REST controller is for APIs, web services. Means controller method by default return the HTML page name or JSP page name or view name. And here if we write something, hello EMP, hello from, no need of this thing, no need of this thing, only this thing, because by default all the methods of REST controller class will return data, but here in controller by default all the methods return the HTML name, JSP page name. So if I want to return data, not JSP page name, we have to use response body. Let me make comment some. Controller class method return view name, that is name of HTML page or JSP page. Okay, if want to return data, we should use false body annotation. But here REST controller class methods return data by default. Okay, so this is the thing. So we can say add, we can say a REST controller equal to controller plus response body. This can be described REST controller. What is the REST controller? REST controller is controller plus responsibility, means all the methods of the REST controller will return this data by default. We don't need to add response body explicitly. Okay, now let me write few APIs. One method into one API, one web service. Okay, so let me create few methods first. Public, let's say employee. We don't have employee, so let's say create employee class first. Here right click, class. The package name should be model or bean, whatever you want. I will make employee, and employee have name, so private string name. Okay, ID, private int ID, and let's say salary, private double salary. These three attributes we have. So right click, source, generate getter and setters, select all, generate. Yeah, we have getter setters. Same for toString method. Right click, source, toString method. Control Shift F, Control S. Okay, fine. Fine, we have employee class. So let's see. We have employee, and I'm going to create a save employee method. Save. Let's just save. It will take an employee and it will save it. It will save it and return save employee. To do save into DB. This is one operation. This is another operation. Update. This will update employee into the DB. Delete. Void. Delete from database. Delete from DB. Get one. We have to pass ID, emp ID, and get employee from DB, and and it will return the employee. Right now, none. Same thing, I want to get all employees. So we have list of employee, get all. No need to pass, but get all employees. Yeah. So we can perform few operations like that. We will try to save employee, we will try to update employee, we will try to delete employee, we will find one employee, we will try to find all employees from the database. Okay, so for this, for saving the data, we should use get, post. What kind of verb we can use? What kind of verb we can use? Hello?
Get mapping.
No. Post. Post mapping. Post mapping. And URL can be, just for example, let's just say, okay, for update, we can use put mapping. Let's say update. Let's say delete mapping. And delete. But here, just 1 minute. For delete, also we have to pass ID. Here we will use get mapping, get one, something like that. And get all. Get all. Yeah. Just 1 minute. Yeah. It will work. If I run this thing, it will work. But I'm telling you from my experience, these kind of URLs are not a good URL. We should not use this kind of URL. We should use something like that. Same URL. Same URL. emp 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 emp. Wow. You can ask me ki, oh, URL should be same. Yes. When same URL, it means the URL http:// localhost:8080/emp URL will call with post. Then it will call this method. Yes or no? Yes or no? This can be called when somebody calls this URL but using put verb. Yes or no? Using delete verb, delete method of the HTTP protocol. Using get. Using get. So here you can ask me ki, no, it's a problematic, it's error, because same URL, same HTTP verb is occurring twice. So how Tomcat will decide for this URL and for this HTTP verb, this will invoke get one or get all. So definitely it is problematic. Okay, I will resolve this thing right now. And also, whether it's a delete or whether it's a get one, they are needed employee ID. So how we get the employee ID? Definitely URL must contain. So something like that 101 should comes here. So you can see when ID come with URL, then it will call this method. When there is no ID but the URL with get, this will call get all. Yes or no? Yes or no? Now URL are changed or same? And number 40 and 47 are same or different?
It's number 101 and 102.
No, I'm asking about line number 40 and 47. Both have get, both have almost same URL, but for the line number 40 in the URL we are passing the ID value.
Yeah,
So this URL or this URL, line number 47, are same or different now? Now they are different.
maybe different because
They are different.
When we hit this URL with ID, this will call get one method. It will try to return data with this ID.
Yeah, that will get only one ID, but down we get a list of employer.
List of employees. Yes. Okay. But okay. So but we never mention here this URL, something like that. We are going to tell curly braces, something like that, and here I will put the ID. Okay. Means the URL will be look like this. Slash same here. I'm expecting ID here. Yes. Yes or no?
Yes.
But how to map this ID to this? I will use add
Request pattern.
path variable. Path variable, because this variable is in the path. Let's make it ID. Same thing I will do here. That's what's the meaning. The meaning is that this ID is coming from the path variable ID. Okay. Yes or no? And how to get this employee object? This is coming from the body, request body. So I will use request body annotation. Yes. So now it's done. Now it's done. From the controller perspective, it's done. But the problem is that we don't have database right now. And again, we will see same thing with the database tomorrow. But I have to do something right now. So for now, I will use a Java class which have in-memory data, basically data structure. So I'm going to create one more class, service class. In the service package, let's say employee service, a separate class, and this separate class has exactly same methods. You can give the same name or different name, it's your choice, but there is no mapping because mapping and shaping is the part of the controller will handle request response. I have only this kind of methods. If you want, you can change the name. Yeah, for this I will create a list. list of employee. We don't have database right now, so I'm going to make a data structure, list of employee. Okay, private होता है भाई, all EMPs, and in the constructor I will create an all employee. Yeah, I will create an array list. Wow. So what happened in the save? In the save, it will add into the list. This employee will be added to the list, and it will return the same employee object for now. For update, I will do something, don't worry. Let's for delete. How we can delete? So before delete, I want to find get one by ID. So how I can? I will use for loop, because we have all employees here. EMP all employees. If any employee matches with passed ID, in this case I will return the employee, or you can say, you can create something like that, employee E equal to or EMP equal to null, start with null and return the employee. And here if any employee have same ID as we passed, then what happened? I will assign into the employee and break the loop. So now if any employee have this ID, it will definitely match, and we will found the employee, and we will return the same employee. Otherwise null will return. Okay, so delete. For deleting, we have to find first the employee object. Employee EMP equal to find, or let's say name it find. Instead of get one, I will call find one. Find. Yes, this. Find. By passing ID. Now we have employee. So what delete means? I will remove. If EMP is not equal to null, if it is not null, what I will do? I will remove all employees dot remove this employee. How cool! How cool! You will you want to delete an employee with the ID. You pass the ID. So I will first search the employee with this ID, the given ID. And if we found the employee, means there is no null, then I will remove this employee from the delete. How easy how easy it is. Get all, it's very easy. Get all means you don't need to do anything but return all employees. Wow. What left? Update left. Okay, so first you will get the existing EMP. How I can? Whatever the employee is coming, get ID. I will find the same employee. I will find the employee having same ID. Now I have existing API, existing employee. Now I want to update. I want to update it. What I will do? I will existing employee dot set name. Whatever the name, what is the new name is coming? How we get new name? Because this is something which new. Salary. I want to change the salary of existing employee with the given employees. Get salary, and I will ask get salary. Now you can see if existing employee not equal to null, then only we can do this thing. Yeah, I will replace new name into the existing. I will replace new salary into the existing. So I created service layer. Service layer contains the logic, and I can annotate with service annotation. Service annotation. Okay. So the main logic is contained by the service layer. Service layer is something which manage our employee objects. It will create list, it will add employee, it will update employee, it will delete employee. Because we don't have database, so we are using data structure. This data structure will store all the employees and something like that. But my question is, this controller will handle request and response. The controller will handle request and response. Every request comes with these methods. So how we use service layer? Now auto varying, dependency injection. I want service layer. So you don't need to do anything. Just mention service emp employee service. Wow. You just tell employee controller depends on employee service. Laptop depends on processor. Car depends on engine. And you also tell AutoWire. Oh, Spring Boot, it's your responsibility. You have to create employee service object and provide here. Wow. If I want to save it, what I will do? I will call oh employee service. You have save method? Yes. Please save my employee. And whatever you will return, I will return the same. Wow. Wow, now it's completed. Same thing. Oh employee service, please update my this employee and return whatever you will return. Wow. Means you don't need to do anything. Who did? Service layer. Dot delete. I just pass this ID and actual deletion is done by the delete method of the service class, employee service class. Get one. We have find one method. Instead of get one, we have find one method. I will pass the same ID and it will find the object this. And again let me change the name. Instead of get all, I will change the name find all. Means I don't have problem with get all also, but still I want to change little bit. Wow. Wow. I'm done. My controller layer uses service for the data structure communication. In next session, we will use this thing for database communication. So let's see how to run this application. It's very easy. Just come to the class who have main method, right click, run as Java application. Application failed to start. This is already running. Okay, so I think my one application is already running. Two Tomcat cannot run on a same port number. It can be run on a different port number. We have n number of Tomcats in our system which can be used different port numbers, but it is not possible a two Tomcat using same port number. Yeah, started. Okay. So now, although we want to save an employee first, but still I'm going to call this URL. It's very simple URL. That's why. So let me copy this URL. Copy this URL. Control C, and I'm going to paste here. Hit enter. It's written as square bracket, means empty array, empty list, because we never add an employee. So how we can get it? Yes or no? In starting list will be empty or not? This list will be empty or not? अरे yes or no तो बोलिए.
Yes.
So if I want to fill some data, fill in employee, I have to call this save method, na? But here we want to save method, we need to send a post request, and I am telling you, you cannot send post request like this. Whenever you type the URL, hit enter, it will always send request as a get. So my question is how I can send get request, how I can send post request, how I can send delete request, how I can send put request. Answer is this. Postman is the tool to test RESTful APIs. Okay. Actually, I have installed Postman in my system. You can download and install without any problem. So I'm going to use a tool. The tool is used to test our web APIs, RESTful services. Let me show you how we can. Just wait for a couple of minutes. Yeah. So I will close all the existing things. Yes. Let's say new request. Okay. Enter the request URL. So let's start from the here. This is the URL, and you can see there are lots of HTTP methods, lots of, but I am going to use get. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
It's again sending blank array because we don't have any employee object yet, but I want to save this request, so I can again use it. New collection. Sorry. Create. In this, I'm going to save this request name means get all. You can see here we have get all. Okay. Let's see get one. So same URL I will copy. Same URL. Let me copy from here. In the next tab, you can see here in the next tab, I will run the same URL with the get. Let's see what happened. Nothing, because we don't have any employee with ID 101, but still I want to save it. Here I want to save it. Get one. So you can see my URLs are saved here. Whenever I want to get all, I will hit this URL, get one, this URL, something like that. Now it's time to send data. Send data. For sending the data, what will be the URL? Let's see. This is the URL, okay, and the HTTP verb will be post. So I will send this thing and I will make post, and let me hit. What happened? Error, bad request. Why bad request? Actually, it will expect post with this URL, but also a employee object. Also employee object. Okay. So how I can send employee object from the postman? So we have this structure. So let's make a JSON for it. For make a JSON, I will use JSON viewer. This is a tool which demonstrates the JSON in a nice format. So I want to create an object. So object in a curly braces. Curly braces means a object. Let's say ID 101, name Musa, salary 100. Let's say format. Okay, viewer. If I can see this thing like this, that's mean my JSON is okay. So this is one employee object. Let me copy, and in the body, raw JSON. I can paste it here. Let me check. Send. Wow. Status 200 okay means response successfully. This data is saved. Wow. So let me save this request. But how I can believe you? So okay, call get all. This will see list of objects, and in the list of objects we have only one object. Wow. Get one. If I use this 101, I will get this data back. But 102, we don't have this data. But we have 101. Yes or no? Let's add few more. Just change 102. Let's say Lokesh. Send. Wow. 103. Pramila. Wow. Let's see 104. Wow. So we are keep adding, but how I can see? Come back to get all. Get all. I will use this URL. Send. How many objects we have? See. These many data we have. Okay. When I will come here, get 01, it will return Musa. Let's say I want to find employee who have ID 102. Okay. 103. Pramila. 104. Geeta. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Data is coming in form of JSON. We don't have UI, we don't have HTML page, something like that. We have only data. So let's see the delete one. So same. For delete, this is the URL. But the verb should be delete. So let me change 101, and delete should be delete. It's deleted. Let's say get all. Now you cannot find 101 because it's deleted. Yes or no?
Mm.
Update. So just a minute. Update. Same URL. You want to put, okay. Let's say I want to change salary of Gita ji. None. Raw.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. किसे दे रहा है?
Can you mute yourself? Okay. So I want to update salary 1400 by 1500. Put same URL, put data. Okay, but I don't believe it. Okay, call get all. Earlier get all gives Gita a salary of 1400, but now it should be 1500. Now it should be 1500. So by this way you can create APIs and external client. Nothing know about the logic, but they only know about the URL. Sometimes they only know how to insert how to send data. That's the thing. These are web services. So today I saw with the help of data structure we create a list, but tomorrow inshallah I will show how to use database to store these values permanently. Because if I close this application right now, if I close this application, no list, no employees. So if I run this application one more time, and if I run this get all URL one more time, it will give the blank array because there is no employee. We have to add fresh. This is added. Now I can get it. So I want to persist my changes. That's why I need database. So I'm done for the day. We'll meet tomorrow. Fine.